expired, and he yields. I now yield to Mr. Huizenga for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that. Undersecretary Fernandez, last week I sent you a letter regarding the increasingly concerning issue of China's economic coercion tactics, particularly in Europe, to influence the economic and political decisions of U.S. allied nations. These tactics range from targeted trade restrictions to leveraging investments in critical infrastructure as a means of exerting political pressure. We have all heard of the examples from Lithuania and Norway, where a particular industry caught the full force of these PRC tactics in the form of embargoes. All of this was due to a political decision made by their government and their governments and entirely out of their own control. So first, how is the Department of State addressing the impact of China's economic coercion on Europe, and what measures are being considered to support our European allies in countering these tactics?
Thank you for your question, Congressman. Earlier I spoke of what we've done specifically in Lithuania, which was the first test case that we had. We worked interagency. We were able to double the export credits that the PRC had provided. We got them additional markets through our posts. The Department of Defense signed the procurement agreement. Right now, Lithuania is thriving, and they are grateful for this, for what we were able to do. Since then we have been engaging our interagency. We now have a toolbox. We've also engaged a number of our allies and partners. We are coordinating with them as well.
Yeah, let me explore that a little bit.
And my point is, we now receive on a monthly basis, we now receive inquiries from countries that are afraid of being targeted by the PRC, and we're helping them.
So what are you doing to develop that unified strategy against this coercion and making sure that our responses and our allies' responses are aligned and effective?
Thank you for your question. We have done a lot. We engaged a number of our allies and partners. The G7 has actually taken as one of its main projects economic coercion and creating a platform for economic coercion. We have progressed on this. We're not perfect. We could do more.
Okay.
We'll get better, but we're quite good at it by now.
And what role has the U.S. played in strengthening international norms and legal frameworks to deter economic coercion and protect the sovereignty of nations in making their own political decisions and economic decisions? In other words, how are we able to do anything on that international stage with norms and structures that mitigates or lessens the impact of China or strengthens our allies and other nations?
Well, look, the Lithuania example convinced the Europeans to pass an anti-coercion instrument, an ACI. We welcome that. They also filed a case against the PRC. I think rather than legal norms, I think we just got to beat them, and that's really what we're trying to do.
Okay, appreciate that. Undersecretary Estevez, do you believe that Chinese facial recognition is dangerous to U.S. foreign policy interests?
I believe facial recognition technology is widely used.
Yeah.
But Chinese technology capturing faces of U.S., I'd be concerned about, yes.
Are you tracking reporting that China has been exporting facial recognition technology similar to systems used against the Uyghurs to countries like Burma, Myanmar, which are being run by military?
Hikvision's on the entity list. I can't stop outbound exports from China.
But are you aware of those reports, and are you tracking it?
I am not, but it doesn't surprise me.
Okay. Well, it's our understanding that companies involved include Huawei, Hikvision, and with Hikvision at least on the entity list, will BIS take action to fully include Huawei on that entity list?
Huawei is on the entity list.
Okay. And so if they're on the entity list, I thought I just heard you say that if they aren't on the entity list, you have no ability to track that or no ability to?
No, I have no ability to stop exports out of China. I stop exports into China.
Okay. All right. Secretary, thank you. Appreciate that. Secretary Fernandez, well, I'm seeing my time is up, but I'm going to follow up on a letter. We did have a second letter to you, and I would appreciate your timely response on that. So,
Thank you, and we will respond to your letter.
okay, thank you. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.